make a good decision without context is like playing the lottery. Sometimes we might win, making a good decision, but most of the time we lose. And we make a decision that proves to be either mediocre or worse. But what is context? Shortly, context is everything. When you think about an event in your life, anything that you felt, thought, saw, heard, or experienced was connected. Events are rarely isolated. All the surrounding circumstances, the environment, the background, and all the settings that determine that particular event is the context in which that event took place. I'm Aurelian, and this is Studylia Audio Experience. This is the place where we exercise our minds so they become faster, stronger, better. If you like our content, smack that like button, subscribe to our channel, and join the notification squad. Now, let's think about the schools that we have today. In schools, children are put in a medium-sized group and they spend their days within that group. Every hour, they are involved in different domains. Take, for example, literature, mathematics, biology, and so on. Every 15 minutes or so, the students are taking a break when they're going outside and play with their friends. As they grow up, these children will move from one group to another, from a classroom to another one, from one place to another. They will be introduced to different domains and new teachers. That means that children need to readapt to a new context every hour and every time they switch schools. But here's the thing. The thing is that our brains work on relationships and links. Everything is connected in our brain, even if we realize it or not. If interconnected neurons become active at the same time during a particular event, their connection becomes stronger and a memory of that event is formed. This is also known as Hebbian learning rule. That means that neurons that fire together wire together. While we apply this concept to the way we learn, the magic happens. If we can learn in circumstances similar to the real environment where we have to apply the knowledge, we simply learn better. Does this happen in schools? Well, it happens only if our end goal is that all the children become teachers. Remember, neurons that fire together wire together. In a classroom, the context contains, among different other things, the medium group of people, a room, a board, seats, books, notepads, pens, homeworks, abstract concept, and so on. Who are those that work in similar circumstances? You guessed it, teachers. But not everybody is supposed to become a teacher. And because of that, we grow in an environment with a particular context, and then we have to switch the context altogether. And then we are expected to perform in the real world. When this happens, neurons that were firing together and were wired together need to readapt and change. When students graduate and they start a new career, they actually have to modify the structure of their brains at the physical level. Neurons now need to fire together with other neurons and establish new connections. But this is not an easy thing to do. When young people that were thought to become teachers are forced to become specialists, they have to start from scratch. When they are starting a new job, they are placed in a different group, the classroom becomes an office, the books are replaced by smartphones and computers, notepads become tablets, abstract concepts learned only at theoretical level become real. Some might argue that abstract learning makes our brains more flexible and adaptable. We can also think that learning in abstract gives the flexibility to transfer knowledge to different other situations. But that is simply not the case. Abstract learnings give the ability to perform on abstract problems. Remember neurons that fire together, wire together? It is true that some people might be able to switch from abstract to practical more easily, but that is not because of school, it is because of the context in which that person learned other things. Their context was simply different, and the brain was used to adapt more easily. To better understand this concept, let's say that we want to teach somebody to negotiate a deal. How can we do that? Well, we can follow the current education system's way. We put that person in a class with other people, we give them a teacher that explains the negotiation techniques. If the teacher is actually involved and wants to teach those students something that lasts, they will involve the students in fictional negotiations with their colleagues. That works, right? Well, no, because the context in which negotiation usually happens is missing. These students will learn abstract techniques, they might even get great scores if tested, but most of the time, when these students need to negotiate a real deal, they perform poorly. And why is that? Because the context in which real negotiation happen is different. There is no group of people that they are familiar with. There is no teacher to observe. There is no classroom. There are no books around. Instead, there is pressure, anxiety, stress, a different room, different people with different behaviors. So, what's the alternative in this case? Well, we should teach people to negotiate by allowing them to take part in real negotiations, by shadowing other people. Shadowing means to take part at the discussion and observe how things are progressing. Negotiation is not the only skill that is hard to learn outside of context. Think about empathy, teamwork, leadership, sales, management, problem solving, critical thinking, and many, many others. These are subjects that are learned only in the right context. Nowadays, digitalization is also changing the context once again at the worldwide scale. Most jobs are changing, new emerging skills are surfacing, and we need a new way to teach and learn. As skills become more complex, learning outside of context becomes less and less efficient. But we want to change that. And that is why we are launching Studylia. Studylia is a platform where we build context. People can access digital courses and materials and learn new skills together with other like minded people in context. We have an early access program that you can join right now. Help us build the next generation learning platform. Join today and let's build the future together. And remember, neurons that fire together wire together.